Hey guys, what's up? This is Andres from the band Sonic Animals, and today I wanted to talk about lenses, so not the typical drum set, guitar, that kind of topic. But just like when I talk about drums and stuff, the way I go about it is, sometimes people ask questions about some gear that I have access to, and I figure I can make a video to provide my 2 cents to help, hopefully, some people, to hopefully be able to help some people save some money or to at least help them make the right decision. Some of the musicians as well, since we also like making video content. So anyways, if you're just looking to make content that looks professional and all, but in a very easy way, phones like the iPhone, Vivo, Samsungs, they take professional footage with very little effort. So for users that don't want more than that, that actually might be better than these. These are more for the people like me that that just enjoy being able to creatively control how the footage is going to come by using the camera's manual settings and the lenses. For and also for people doing even more professional stuff, since they will definitely be using those settings. So anyways, let's jump right into it. So this is what I got. I got three full frame cameras here and an ApSC or crop sensor camera here. They're all Sony cameras, all pretty excellent. And so anyways, let's start going through some differences. So very obvious difference that we can clearly see is size. This is very small. Lenses are smaller. In fact, you can see this lens is almost as big as those three put together. And as we go in this direction, things get larger, right? And the lenses could be used in any of them. Then other apparent differences, or actually, before skipping the next thing, let me show you how small an ApSC camera nowadays can be compared to some of the full frame cameras. So here we can see a massive difference, and the same applies to weight. And also another big difference is price. These smaller lenses, smaller body, actually the sensor, which is is cut into a smaller sensor, so therefore also cheaper. So significantly cheaper. With here, you can get manual lenses that are excellent for like $200. With full frame, lenses below $500 tend to be really bad. So I guess as you grow your lens collection, that's something to consider, because the cost of full frame lenses will add up very quickly. Whereas with the ApSC, that is not the case. So with that out of the way, given that these are full frame, what is the difference, right? I mean, they're like, I'm calling them all the same, right? Full frame. So this is an older generation of these cameras. So it's an excellent. I mean, cameras don't actually change, in my opinion, that much. Like, this still takes stunning quality stuff. However, these ones can now take 4K video like at 120 FPS. So like if you're into doing slow motion video and things like that, these two are better because they're newer and they're capable of that. So now, why is this cheaper than that? So again, if you look at the prices, this is cheaper than that. It's not the image quality. In fact, they have identical image quality. They have the same sensor, but you can see in the construction, this is, it's like a cheaper plastic. This is more rugged. And that same construction also affects the performance. The fact that this is larger, this doesn't overheat. So in here can record like 4K video with like a very high frame rate, for slow motion video. Whereas in this, if I was to do that, after maybe half an hour, I will start running into overheating issues. So, that I guess that can help you decide, what kind of user are you? Are you dealing with clients? Because again, same image quality. So, if you're not dealing with clients, I would say get the cheaper one. But if you're dealing with clients, you don't want to lose a client because the thing overheated on you. So then this, something like this is the way to go. And then finally here we have the ApSC camera. So again, like I'm saying, smaller, much cheaper and smaller lenses. This probably sucks compared to that, right? It actually doesn't. Like in my opinion, the image quality of this is comparable. And I would say nowadays this is the case with most brands. So again, even once these are out of fashion, these things will probably still hold true. So what is the difference between a crop sensor and full frame? So if I was to use the same lens, like this, for example, if I put it here and I put it there and I take the image from the same exact spot, the full frame camera will capture this, let's call this full frame, and the crop sensor might only capture this. Given that it's the same sensor, if the sensor quality is the same or identical, the only difference might be because the sensor is smaller, it can capture less light, so you might get a little bit more noise. But otherwise, the image quality will be pretty identical. So that's what I was saying. Is this because this is cheaper and smaller, will it suck? No, actually, it's just as fantastic as this. But you have to be okay again with the fact that you're getting a cropped version out of the footage or the shot. Another thing that sometimes people think, oh, full frame looks much better. It's, in my opinion, a misconception, and the misconception is this, because they see more separation between foreground and background in full frame. And the reason that is caused is really just caused by the fact that you have more background. So if I put the camera on the same exact spot and the background is on the same exact spot, if I want the subject to cover half of the whole footage frame, in the crop sensor I might have to get really close to that background. So you can see here I have a line that is the middle. So in a crop sensor I will have to get really close, and therefore I cannot get much separation to the background, right? That's about the halfway point. But if now in full frame, again from this white line, to cover half of the frame, I can actually get much farther from the background. As you can see, even this, I'm recording this on a phone. Even the phone is able to get really nice separation between the front end and the foreground and the background. So that can be perceived as superior image quality because you're getting nice separation, which for storytelling could be very important, right? Like you want to have a story that very clearly shows your subject and doesn't have these distractions of the background being in focus. So for that, so in other words, you could almost think like if that's what you're looking for in that shot, the full frame will give you more control, and therefore your end result will be a better image quality. But it's not necessarily that the hardware has better image quality. It just gives you that flexibility. You could work around that by using a lens that is just inertly capable of much more aggressive separation. So this one is a very fast lens. So this lens can actually achieve more blur than this, even though it's on this crop camera. But that's because this lens has a much faster aperture. So smaller number means faster. So again, you can work around that by using different lenses, or you can work around that by, again, in our example, the problem was like I was assuming the camera is on the same position and the background, the distance between the background and the camera is the same, right? But you could work around that by moving the camera farther and moving the subject closer to the camera, therefore reintegrating separation between the background and the foreground. So yeah, so that's one way to work around it. Anyways, I hope this video is useful, because I think most musicians starting out could potentially, if they're looking into getting cameras and stuff like that, ApSC is fantastic. And Sony nowadays is making really, really awesome stuff for prices that, that you could never get that level of quality in the past. Anyways, I hope that's useful. One thing I wanted to add about this specific camera is this one doesn't have image stabilization. So if you're looking for ApSC and it will be your only camera, get the A6700, which does have stabilization. All that means is that if you're taking the footage while walking in this camera, because it doesn't have stabilization, it will be like the old days when you would take footage and when you walk, you would get like this almost like stuttering as you make a step, right? Whereas these cameras, just like even phones do, they have really good stabilization. So they're better for moving footage. Anyways, I hope the video was useful. And take care, guys. Bye.